While I contemplate how I want to proceed with this channel and exactly what course I want to take with it, I thought I would give you some background on me. And in the background of this background, hopefully will be some photos of a walk I took today, just to give you something to look at while I drone on. I think the purpose in doing this is just to sort of clarify why I see things the way I do, and why I have always seen things the way I do, and that in some respects I consider myself extremely fortunate. Otherwise maybe not. I was raised without any spiritual or religious background at all. There are reasons for that are not really relevant, though I'm happy to talk about them if necessary. So I wasn't raised with any, but I wasn't raised to be anti them either. Really, I was open and free to explore in whatever way seemed appropriate to me, and to ask any questions if I had any, and to have fairly objective answers given to me. So all the stuff, all the things that go on between the religious and the anti-religious don't actually make any sense to me. Neither side makes any sense to me. What seems relevant to me is how we live, and not how we, maybe how we die matters, but not where we go when we die. And that seems to be the absolute thrust of the religious, and the thrust perhaps of the anti-religious is that there is nothing beyond the physical. So it's kind of the antithesis of that, but not quite. To me, where we go when we die, while it may be fascinating speculating upon such a thing, it's not really going to be terribly helpful to us. And founding our entire lives based upon a hopeful wish that it'll all work out when we die, or that everything will prove to make sense when we die, is not the most sensible thing in the world to do. How about how we live? For me, the transcendence of God or anything of a spiritual nature is really largely irrelevant. The immanence, however, is really what I'm all about, though I personally wouldn't call it God, because I think that implies something outside of us that we must look to. I see us as part of all of us, and everything as part of the one thing which I would define as, purely because it's the one word that I've come up with, which doesn't seem loaded in any way, not because it has any specific meaning to me as such, is the source. All things stem from that source, all things return to that source, all things are animated by that source. But that doesn't mean it's a person, or that it has any opinions at all specifically. However, this also means that nothing, and I mean nothing, is separate. And I think our tendency to view the world as outside us and opposed to us, and our language is set up to look at everything in terms of conflict, and it seems normal because our brains end up functioning in that way, because our language is geared to that. So to say something is good or bad, right or wrong, black or white, whatever it is, it really doesn't matter. Those are the only options, rather than the multiplicity of options that there are. I have in mind to explore the nature of cause and effect. And I am uniquely, no, not uniquely, that's completely incorrect. I am well placed to understand that, having applied a basic principle in my life and watched it play out, not exactly scientifically tested it, but certainly empirically tested it and attempted to disprove it and failed. And that to me would imply that the hypothesis is a fair one, even if it's not necessarily absolutely correct. And I think, again, anyone who says they are absolutely correct and has nothing to add to their knowledge is sadly mistaken. I think I'm going to wind it up there, because I'm going to end up rambling around in circles otherwise, which is the trouble with this. I think one of the reasons why so many are fond of finding a formula, whatever that formula is, and it really doesn't matter, to define the world by, to define everything by, is because it's easier to explain, it's easier to understand, it's easier to set yourself up against others and put yourself in a position of rightness. That doesn't make it true, though. And it certainly doesn't make it all the picture. Anyway, I'll leave it there, as I said, and I'll contemplate how I want to approach all of this. And if there's anything that anybody wants to suggest or ask, then please do.